everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of a podcast about movies, TV shows, video games, and lots of pop culture and nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me per usual is, you know him as the Beard and New Reliable and the Spider-Man villain, Mr. Negative on a Dragon Ball Z Redemption. Aki is also known as Brian in the house today.
Oh, it's your boy.
Brian is going to be carrying this episode because I'm a little hoarse and I'm losing my voice, and I can't do that, so I'm drinking a lot of honey and tea right now.
No.
I'm feeling good. How you feeling, man?
I'm good. I exist. I'm sipping on a little wine, feeling a little sexy.
Ooh,
you know how it goes.
Very nice. Love it. We watched the Game Awards a couple days ago together.
We sure did, and that was super fun. I'm glad we did that.
It was fun. Still too long, kind of boring, but we'll talk about that.
It was super fucking long. I mean, I know like Summer Games Fest like probably shouldn't be 3 hours, but this show was fucking like 3 hours.
This is like the Oscars, bro.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. We'll talk about it. We'll get into detail. Listeners, we got a pretty big show, and you know me and Brian like to talk, so we're going to try to keep this shit short. We'll see, though. First, listeners, if you want to skip any spoilers or skip sections, check out the time codes for all that jazz. They are in the show notes, as usual. Brian, with that, though, shall we hop into our first segment of the week?
Let's do it.
News talk.
First piece of news. This is a real quick one. Jim Ryan, as we all know, head of PlayStation, retired. In his celebration party, they gifted him a 1-of-1, very special PS Classic, PS1 style PlayStation 5, and I want it.
What if
That's
I
the only
said,
reason it's here.
What if I said, I don't like it? I don't like it.
Really?
I don't like it.
Damn.
There's something about
Not
the way
even the controller?
There's something about the way the PlayStation 5 looks that it just doesn't vibe with me well enough. Because I think there was a version of this for the PS4 as well that I ended up seeing. I don't know if it was like a handmade or if it was made specifically for somebody. But I just think that controller just doesn't fit for that aesthetic.
Oh, that's so funny. See, I don't care about the system really because all they did was change the fucking wings on it to the color. But I love the controller and that the fact that they made even like the USB port into the PS5 like a classic PS1 controller. I thought that was a nice touch.
That is cool for sure. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I'm just still not. I'm not fucking with it. I wouldn't.
That's
I wouldn't
so
go
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm loving it. Give me back the color buttons like that and everything. Oh,
they should go back to color buttons. I do think the aesthetic's gotten a little lost in what they're trying to do. If anyone knows me, I still use the PS4 controller. I actually went back.
Right.
I got the Xbox Elite recently, but I still went
back.
To the PS4. I went back. The Xbox Elite, the input delay is really heavy, and I noticed it pretty bad. It definitely made my gameplay worse. PlayStation 4 controller, perfect controller.
Wow,
I'm sorry.
Look at that.
I said what I said. Xbox 360 is better, but it's hard to find them. So.
Fair enough. That's hilarious. Yeah, that was a quick story. I just thought that looked really cool.
That's super cool. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, awesome. Like no one else in the world will have this. That's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Like when they released like some of those like really cool like GameCubes that came out that are like the N64s. I think those are super cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely very cool. All right, let's now move into the next section. But to do that, we got to get to the trailer park. So let's go.
Mom's Spaghetti.
It's been 10 fucking years.
10 years. We missed it by this much last week to make the show. And funny enough, it even came out a day early because it leaked. Unfortunately or sadly, we'll probably talk about that in a second as well. But yes, listeners, the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer has finally arrived. And as a person who has been sick and tired of hearing about the hype for GTA 6, I'm just like, it'll come when it comes. Blah, blah, blah. After watching this trailer, 2025 can't get here sooner, bro. Holy fuck.
I was not excited until I saw this trailer. This shit looks, obviously it's all pre-rendered trailer. Like that's whatever. But just the vibe and the aesthetic just reminds me of why I like Grand Theft Auto so much.
Again, I think there's a reason because it's been a decade. We forgot what Grand Theft Auto was.
I was about to say, as someone that's not a GTA Online kind of person, I just never really got into it. The last time I played GTA was probably like maybe 2017 of just replaying the story when I bought like it on PC or whatever after the Xbox 360 PS3 version came out. And since then, I've never played it again. And I love the game. I thought it was a great game. GTA 5 is one of my favorite Grand Theft Autos as far as storyline goes. So to see this is like, damn, Grand Theft Auto fucking cooks. This game's fucking sick.
Yeah, man. Fuck, dude. Like, honestly, and I don't know if this is gameplay or not. Like, this could be gameplay.
It could
be. This shit looks ridiculous.
And I mean, we know that like Unreal Engine 5 is really strong, and I'm sure they use that for a lot of building this. So
I mean, Red Dead 2, it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Red Dead 2 was a huge step up from Red Dead 1 and even GTA 5.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
with all the money they made and the fact that it's been a decade, it could be gameplay. This shit could all be real.
With any game to take a console to its limits, it would be this game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's going to be towards I don't want to say the end of PlayStation 5's life cycle, but definitely towards the twilight years of the life cycle.
Right.
So, I mean, we're getting to the point where we know how to use this system effectively now. I think that's one of the reasons that they put out like the collection that they did. Even the collection was fucking god awful. They were testing things. So to see that test and to see what that kind of went through, I wouldn't be surprised.
Which is funny because like GTA up until maybe 5, honestly, maybe a little bit of 4, was never the best in terms of what their characters look like. Their characters look like garbage back in the day. Their fists were just blocks and some shit. It looked terrible.
Yeah, their art style is very apparent to make it for like we want to focus on the sandbox more than we do on the characterization of characters. 4 is definitely looked good for its time. Playing it now, it's a little dated. But like 5 is a very pretty game. Like especially with all the updates they did with like the re-release after like PS3, Xbox 360. Like, the game's really pretty. Which is so surprising because that game's also huge.
And apparently this is going to be even huger.
Yeah. I love it. We have a female character. We haven't actually had a female character since I think Grand Theft Auto 1 where you could choose your character. Technically, you were like 3 fucking pixels, so it didn't matter what fucking character you picked. But yeah, we have that. She's a character of color.
Got basic looks like it's gonna be some sort of Bonnie and Clyde story.
Yeah,
this couple robbing some shit, and ultimately I bet you there'll be a betrayal at some point.
Oh shit. Interesting. You think they're gonna do a what was that game that we played together? Did we play that game together? The one made by the people that made It Takes Two. The one that came before.
Oh, no, we didn't, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we should play that together. That game's sick. It might be a situation like that. Rockstar is such an interesting game studio because they make games that are AAA games, but they don't feel like AAA games because they do something.
It's because they don't give a fuck.
they don't. It's like it doesn't feel like a Ubisoft game. I guess is the best way to put it.
No,
to see them kind of like cook up again is I don't know. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Honestly, the only thing I want out of this is for them to fix their loading times. My God, their loading times in all their games are always atrocious.
And I mean, with the SSD, I think that will probably be their godsend when it comes down to it. Both of these games, like all the other games before them, released pre, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, before they started getting solid state drives. And I mean, I think a big thing about having a solid state drive is I load games. I load my fucking computer so quickly. So I'm hoping they'll be able to play around with that a little bit more. So if there's a character change system or something like that, that you won't have to fucking wait so long to switch to Trevor. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I can only imagine.
And I'm glad like they just put it out there. It's out there. They said 2025. Don't get your hopes up. That might even itself also get delayed.
Oh,
I mean,
we gotta be realistic, right?
Yeah. And honestly, I don't need to see anything from them for another year. Yeah. I'm fine. I mean, it would be cool, but I'm like, take your time.
I am more than happy to wait for. I have plenty of video games to play in the meantime. I'm not stressed.
Exactly.
I'd love to see it when it comes out, but I also want it to be a finished game that's good. That doesn't take 18 patches before I can actually play it. So please.
We don't want to, Cyberpunk 2.0. So.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, lived up to the hype. I think it broke like the YouTube record on most views or some shit like that.
Right now, this has 135 million views, and it's been It's been 5 days since this trailer's come out.
Holy shit. Yeah, people are hyped. They're already modding Homegirl, whose name I don't remember the character, into other games and shit.
That's
like
funny.
people are going nuts on it. It got leaked a day early, like not even like less than 24 hours early. And so Rockstar just put it up. They said, "Fuck it. All right, here you go. Watch it." And it's in the way it's meant to be seen, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that this happened, especially they've been getting fucked with leaks for a while.
People have been speculating that it might be one of the children of one of the developers,
which is
that has been doing this. Which is like you said. I mean, I'm sure I don't know about Rockstar specifically, but I know a lot of companies are still working at least a hybrid schedule, if not fully remote. Still, a lot of people understood that like it just wasn't worth the extra money to keep an office in the space, and I'm wondering if that could have been one of the issues that caused it. It's like it's one thing to like you go in the office and you work on your games. It's another thing when your laptop's sitting on the kitchen table and you got a nosy kid that might know what the passwords you like to use.
I can't imagine like what do you gain? I mean, as a child, I
Clout.
guess depending on the age,
Yeah,
clout.
it's all clout.
If you're a 13-year-old, like showing your friends, dude, I got the GTA 6 trailer. You want to see it?
There was a big issue, and like, God, what the fuck was the Discord? This is really off base. That's not has anything to do with this. But there was like a Discord of a bunch of people that played video games. They were like all in the military, and this dude just kept leaking fucking like covert op docs to just kind of like one up his friends over and over again. Ended up getting arrested for it because they're just kind of like,
Christ.
well, you don't know that I know that the CIA is making a fucking bomb ship, and it's like, why did you tell people that? But you just want to be like that guy that's like, oh shit, I know this information you don't know. Like,
Jesus,
stop.
Yeah, that's so wild,
so goofy. So yeah, I mean, there's such an effect that it's just like, I'm that guy that did the thing. You know, whether or not you're named or not, it's just kind of cool.
That kid is going to be grounded until GTA 7 comes out.
He's going to prison. He won't even see anything other than a VCR.
That's the irony. We'll never get to play GTA 6. Very excited. Very excited. Ugh. Rockstar. Y'all are rock stars.
Yeah. I'll play Red Dead Redemption 2 someday.
You should, dude. Honestly, you're gonna hate part of it.
I was about to say, I feel like it's a game that feels bad to play, and that's what I'm nervous about.
I think you're gonna hate the first hour.
Oh shit! Okay, interesting.
It's just a slow start. It's a slow burn.
Racist. Okay, got you. Anyway,
no, not even that. It's just a real slow burn. But I absolutely adored that game. But it's also one of those games that I never went back and platinum yet, and it's still on the list. I have to, because it was so damn big and so damn long. As soon as I hit credits and like full credits, epilogue credits, I haven't touched it since. I literally put it down and never touched it.
I hear it can be a hard play because of how much of a life sim it can be sometimes.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. it's a little daunting at times. Yeah. All right, moving on. A fortunate trailer release. I think it was the same day. Yeah, because I think they tried to do it before GTA, but then it leaked. Obviously, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Their roguelike no return mode got a trailer. Again, I've never played a roguelike before, at least from my memory to recall. So anytime one of these, which is funny, we'll talk about more, a different one in the main topic, comes out, I'm not sure how to be excited about it, because again, I'm so story focused in a lot of ways that these modes don't seem very story focused. They're more like for the gameplay elements, which it's gonna be fun as shit. But it's not exactly up my alley. But in the same way, since then, I have been seeing that people have been getting their hands on it and says it's pretty good. It'll probably be good to fun and play.
I think it's one of those things that they noticed that the gameplay of 2 felt so good that people wanted to spend more time in it. I mean, we have to think this is a Naughty Dog game, so there's a lot of cutscene. So there isn't like as far as like how much gameplay you actually play, it's on the slimmer side. Like, let's be real. So I think this is just kind of like, it's an easy way to play with the sandbox,
right,
and kind of get people's hands deep in it without having to make a completely new game. And I think that if you can do that and still have people have fun, why not do it? You know what I mean? Like, why not? That's very few resources for them from a resource perspective, and also like cool enough that people like, we know we didn't get the multiplayer that we were looking for, and that sucks. But I think this could be definitely an interesting thing to sink your teeth in, even if it's for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's cool that they shown like each. You can play as different characters. Obviously, you can play Abby, Ellie, Lev, and they all have different abilities and kind of like skill trees and stuff like that. So I'm very eager to get my hands on it when it comes out next month.
Yeah, I'm not a super big roguelike person myself for the same reasons. I just don't think what's the point. But no, I think it's fun.
I still want to play Hades though. I really want to play Hades.
It's apparently an amazing game. So yeah, Hades 2 is going to come out eventually.
All right, moving on. Brian, you're going to have to tell me what the hell is happening in this Dragon Age Dreadwolf teaser that came out. Lost in the shuffle, like I said off the pod, in terms of GTA Day, basically. I don't know who's talking. I don't know what's happening in this map. I don't know what these locations are, really. Brian, are you excited for one thing?
No. No, I'm not. This trailer is another nothing sandwich on the top of the already nothing sandwiches we already received.
What are they doing?
So right now what they're doing is they're using voice actors from some of their other older games, people from your party, people, enemies that you face, things like that, are talking about situations that have happened in the game.
Okay, so that's my question. Is this new dialogue, do you think?
I do believe it's new dialogue.
Okay.
I don't remember well enough. I haven't played the games in a while, but it sounds like it's probably like some new dialogue around that. Because the big thing about this Dragon Age, which is different from the other ones, is this is supposed to be one of the first continuations of another game. It's kind of Final Fantasy like 13-2 kind of situation that the ending of Final Fantasy of Dragon Age Inquisition is supposed to directly relate into what happens in Dreadwolf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no spoilers in regards to that, but that's kind of a big thing.
Interesting.
Or at least supposed to be. I don't know if you're going to have the same main character, the things like that, or it's going to be a different main character that comes from it. But the big thing is that like the big bad is supposed to kind of be carrying over in that situation. The bad news is this game has been in development since 2015.
Yeah, man.
This is a 2023 trailer, and they did not even give us a fucking pre-rendered cutscene.
They gave you a Lord of the Rings style pan over a map.
And I'm willing to bet it's because they had a really negative reaction. There was a leak. Once again, leaks happening is the bane of the existence of developers. And it's really sad that happens, but it's one of those things that do come about. Y'all got to start suing people. I don't know what to tell you. The leaks came out, I think, a couple of years ago around Dreadwolf, and it was going to be more of an action RPG-esque game similar to what Inquisition was. It looked even more actiony and a little bit less RPG-like, and it got flamed. It got flamed really badly. A lot of people didn't think it looked good. They didn't think it looked fun. They weren't into it. I guess they took that information and was like, well, based on that, we're probably going to end up switching up gameplay. Like, this is all speculation, of course. I can't tell you this is actually happening, but I can only imagine that after that coming out, you don't show us any gameplay, you're fixing gameplay. So,
I mean, they say a reveal coming in, what is it, summer 2024 or something?
Summer 2024 is how long they expect it for them to fix the gameplay, is what I imagine.
Honestly, they shouldn't have even put summer. They should have just said 2024.
They shouldn't have put nothing. They shouldn't even showed us this trailer. There's nothing. I'm always nervous when they do things like this because it's like they're scrambling. And I hate when there's a scramble because that just shows me that there's an issue.
It's one of those things. It's the same thing with Andromeda. It's the same thing with the current state of the Knights of the Old Republic remake. I'm like, I just want to walk into that studio and just look around and just see what's going on.
And that's what so often happens. Like Andromeda was on like a 6-year cycle, but it took them 6 months to actually make the game. But because they fucked up for so long, that they were just like, well, we got to get out something. And then that's what we ended up getting. And like, it wasn't the worst game on earth, but it definitely wasn't what it should have been. And it feels like the exact same things happen with this. We've been in this for 7 years now. Like the development cycles just keep getting longer and longer and longer. So if you're in 7 years of a cycle and you don't have anything to show for it, y'all are getting fired. Like, I don't.
That's up. Yeah, no. As much as like it hurts, like, and we don't want, especially in this year, that's 7 years is a long ass time.
That's a long ass time. Like you're at that point, you've paid people that make probably an average of at least $100,000. You know, hundreds of people, $100,000 every single week, like every single month. You're making, you know, $10,000 a month, something like that.
And it's not like they had a lot of bangers beforehand to have a cash of flow.
Exactly.
Of money.
So if you did that for 7 years straight, and then your game isn't a 9 out of 10 absolute success, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're fucked. And that's what's so scary about making big games like this. Is for that exact reason that it's like you have to think about what you're paying people and what the investors are giving you and things like that. We're making $300 million games now. If your game is not an absolute success, you're fucked. Like, that's why Call of Duty is stressed right now because Modern Warfare 3 sucks. Like,
again, that one I'm okay with them failing because not any of the developers' fault. Clearly, it was a higher up that was like, nah, fuck it. We can make this $70 cost. Make them full. And it's like, good. I'm glad that people aren't behind it. I'm glad people fucking said it was bad because hopefully they'll learn the lesson that stop trying to screw people over.
It changes the climate.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm looking forward to summer 2024, man.
Listen, I love Dragon Age. I think it's a beautiful game. It was a sleeper hit for me for sure. You know, I love all BioWare games, but this game is something really special for me. So I want it. And I want it to be good. So take your fucking time. I know EA Games is up your fucking asshole, but please.
And that's,
you need a win because you haven't had one in so long.
This needs to be a success.
It does.
It's the Starfield effect. And look, Starfield wasn't a massive success, but it was a success, you know? So
it at least
if it can at least reach that, maybe, if it can,
I'll play it regardless, but I'm not even waiting with bated breath. I'm just waiting. Whenever it comes out, if I'm still alive, I'll be around.
All right, let's move on to our last and final trailer very quickly. Another trailer for the Yu Hakusho, the Netflix live action series coming out this month, like in days or whatever.
The 13th, I believe, is coming out.
This trailer somehow looks worse than the last one we talked about.
It looks like shit. What happened?
Why does this looks like Dragon Ball Evolution? What the fuck is going on in this fucking trailer? Oh my god, it looks terrible.
I think what I hate the most about this trailer is one big thing about Yu Hakusho is how it's so much of a 90s anime, and they really dive deep into the fact that it's based in the 90s. Like it's probably based in the 80s, the actual show. So the big thing about it is like Yusuke is one of the first characters that I remember that like changes clothes. And all of his clothes are like so 90s aesthetic clothing of like he'll like sometimes wear a tank top tucked in with like some blue jeans and some like, you know, Nike Airs or something like he'll dress like that. And then all of this shit looks so costume. And it's like derogatory. Like it looks bad. It just doesn't look natural.
It's like they had whatever was left over of One Piece's budget. They're like, that's all the money you got to work with.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It looks like they took like some fucking random cloth you found at Michael's and just stitched it together. And they're like, yeah, this is fucking fit. And it's like,
it just, and honestly, it reminds me sadly, and I've watched these shows and liked some of them. It looks a lot like them Marvel Netflix shows, bro. It looks like it all takes place in one shipping yard and one alley, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I was cautiously optimistic about this, but this trailer has made me feel so uninterested. And I'm going to watch it for the culture, but I'm not
You'll have
excited.
to let me know.
I'm not excited for it, which sucks because Yu Hakusho is probably one of the best anime to come out of the 90s, and it's getting this kind of treatment that's so disrespectful. I mean, Cowboy Bebop went through the same thing. Cowboy Bebop's an amazing anime.
Cowboy Bebop didn't look as bad, I feel.
I don't think it did either. No, it didn't. I don't know what's happening here. And I know like his powers are a little weird to kind of like, a lot of the characters' powers are a little weird to kind of translate, but it's like you can do it. I don't know. Anyone with After Effects could do better
They
than
fucking
this.
made One Piece a stretchy man, you know?
Right. Like one of the big bads they're showing in the trailer, and it's just kind of like,
he looks bad.
That's just some guy. He just looks like some guy.
He looks bad.
Yeah. So I'm already disappointed, and I hope that maybe my disappointment is set in the wrong place.
Look, maybe the story will come out later that someone embezzled some money.
It's gotta be right. Someone had to fucking steal something for these. They stole all the costumes. That's what I believe.
That's what they stole. No money. They stole all the costumes.
But yeah, we'll see. The 13th, I think it comes out. What day is that? That's like Wednesday.
I think that's Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to watch this early because I just want to get through it. So I don't, because I assume it's all coming out at once. So I can just get it over with. And then I'll let you guys know.
Please do, because I'm very curious, but not curious enough to spend 8 hours in there.
And I'm not even mad at you about it, especially if you haven't watched the anime. There's no reason.
Yeah, I got no connection to it.
This will make you not want to watch the anime, I'm sure.
All right. All right, that is the trailer part, which means that is the news. Brian, shall we now move into our main topic of the week?
Let's do it.
But first, we were trying another Fourtress. This is a Fourtress we've been to similarly in the past couple of years. It seems to be a annual thing now. It's about games. It's about awards because we're in the Fourtress of...
Wrap it up. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the Game Awards.
Shit. All right, main topic over. Let's move on to final segment of the week. Spent too much time. All right. Yes, listeners, we're in the Fourtress of the Game Awards 2023. The Jeff Keighley Awards show that everyone kind of at this point is like, this is the end all be all of awards, even though we know there are many more award shows with games involved, but this one seemed to be the coup de grace of everything, and here we go. So we're not going to talk about everything. Obviously, there's too much stuff. We're not going to talk about every award. There's too much stuff. Much like the Game Awards, we're skipping a lot of shit. Sorry. But we're going to jump around and talk about some things, some reveals, maybe some awards, some controversies, whatever, about just the whole show as well. Overall, personally, this is me personally, and I know a lot of people don't feel this way. This was kind of boring in terms of the reveals. Not in terms of acceptance speeches or anything like that, but in terms of reveals, there's only like a handful of things that I was kind of excited about. Granted, as I went back and looked there, I was like, oh, I forgot about that. There were actually a couple more things than I thought and could remember. But overall, it's just like, it was fine. Nothing too crazy. Again, we'll briefly talk about it at the end. It's mostly just because, like, they're not games that are targeted towards probably a person like me that play. Like, I've never played a Monster Hunter. I know people are fucking so excited about that reveal. Like, and I get it. But it's just not for me, and I've just never played it. And I probably would enjoy it if I did play it, but goddamn. Those games are just too big and too long. Yeah. And there's too many.
And we talked about a little bit off air. I think it's a little bit of a mix. I kind of feel similar to you that I just think it was mostly boring. Like trying to separate it from my feelings of this existing as a whole. I do just think that it just wasn't much that was interesting to me. I think a big thing about it had to do with COVID. A lot of people released their games in 2023 because that was the first time they were able to release their games.
Right.
We have to think about how long development cycles have gotten at this point, that we're looking at a lot of development cycles that got kind of snubbed in 2020, 2021, that they were like, well, I can't even release my game until 2 years later, so I released it then, which made a crazy year for games. We had some of the best games we might have. This might be one of the best, like, as far as consumer exists, this is one of the best gaming years ever, since, like, I don't know, 2007, maybe. which is wild to think about. But at the same time, I do think that's going to make a pretty hard, barren wasteland afterwards, because now we're running into games that have like a 2-year life cycle, or like a 3-year development cycle, maybe a 1-year development cycle. And that's where we're getting a lot of games that are like, well, it's pretty fun, but it's not, The Last of Us Part 3. It's not fucking, Spider-Man 3, things like that. We're getting like a little bit AA stuff.
I had to go think back on, like, I hate being that person where it's like, unless it's an IP I recognize, I get excited. Because I'm trying to remember when I first saw The Last of Us, I was fucking stoked. For like a lot of these games, like there are a lot of new IPs that I'm like, oh, that looks cool, but I'm not like, holy fucking shit. Nothing like blew my ass away during this. You know what I mean?
For
Even
sure.
new IP stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff is looking a little samey, and that's a big issue.
Dude,
as
we
well.
have so many of the same fucking shit.
And I don't wonder, it's one of those things as well that it's like, I wonder if it's like one of those things where a bunch of people wanted to make the same idea, and it just so happened that they thought about it at the same time, and not so much that people are trying to copy each other. It's kind of like a Detective Pikachu and then Sonic the Hedgehog coming out at the same time, where it's like, it just wasn't
all the time.
Yeah, an awkward coincidence that they both wanted to make the small, cute characters that we know from the 90s at the same time, and now it looks awkward. But yeah, I'm curious to see kind of how everybody feels about what 2024 and beyond is going to look like now.
Me too, honestly. Look, we got Final Fantasy at the top of the year. That might be the peak. Who knows?
That might be the peak. And that's crazy, because what are we, 4 years into this fucking console's life cycle now? Like, or gonna be?
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts.
I can name on one hand the amount of games on PS5 I want to buy right now.
That's fair enough. All right, so let's get into this. At least the first thing for me, obviously, God of War Ragnarok got a surprise little drop called Valhalla. It is 1, free DLC. 2, it's coming out next week, and it's a roguelike. A la The Last of Us, they are doing a roguelike thing. I'm more excited for this one, honestly, than The Last of Us one, because I more recently played Ragnarok than I did Part 2. But I love the combat in Ragnarok. That it is so fucking good. And it looks like there are some story elements in this more than they were looking in that Last of Us thing. And also, in this trailer, I didn't realize it at the time. I had to go back and listen again. They've queued up the OG God of War music. Oh. It's not the Norse music. It's his fucking Greek theme.
Okay.
Queuing up. And that's when you see the Cyclops come out at the end of this trailer. I'm like, yo, are they going to have some throwback shit to the past fucking games? I'm like, that intrigues the fuck out of me.
That's really interesting. I love that it's free. I love anything they give me for free.
Yeah.
that feels, that seems like a game that understands that they're doing this for their fans. And also that they're probably making on a Game of the Year edition eventually that they want to go ahead and release. And it's not on PC yet, so this would be a perfect time to go ahead and be like, oh, also,
that's true.
Coming soon, we're putting this shit on PC, baby. So
yeah,
they know what they're doing.
Honestly, I haven't seen a game put out like a free chunky DLC like this. And from what I can remember,
Sonic Frontiers, baby. They
I was gonna say, if you say Sonic, if you fucking say Sonic,
I can play as different characters now. There's new levels. There's a whole boss attack mode. They added a lot, and all of it's free. All of it's free. I don't want to. They're money suckers. If anyone is, Sega fucking hates their fans, but they really cooked with that one. So I will say that.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I know what I'm fucking doing Tuesday. I'm excited to get back into this world.
And that's the biggest thing. It comes out really soon. It comes out Tuesday.
Awesome, amazing. Like genuinely kind of shocked. I was like, holy shit. Wasn't the story like DLC that I thought when I first started the trailer? I was like, but damn, I'm happy. I'm happy. Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
For sure.
All right, moving on. This one, I only had a real briefly quick thought. Senua Saga, Hellblade 2. My only thought is, when the fuck is this game coming out? I feel like I've seen the same thing, and I still don't know what this game looks like or is. What the fuck is this game?
Hellblade 1 has been on my Game Pass list for the longest time, and it's a beautiful looking game. And that's why I think, and I hear it got like a pretty good rating. I think it got like an 8 out of 10 for most people, maybe 8.5. Definitely a game worth playing on Xbox and PC. But this game looks fucking beautiful. The biggest thing about it was the fact that this was supposed to be like in-game engine, and that's crazy.
That's credible. Yeah.
So just from that alone makes me want to play Hellblade 1 so that I can be like up to speed when this game comes out, because I want to play this game. I can't even tell you what kind of game it is. It was a game that I'm really interested in, but I know I want to play this fucking game.
I have no clue what the story or the plot is. I don't know what. I have no clue. But yeah, it is a gorgeous looking game.
We could come out and be a turn-based RPG. I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you.
Could you imagine? Yeah, and I think, again, even at the end of the trailer, they still didn't put a date. They said 2024, but still no fucking date. I'm just like, it feels like this game has been doing the same thing for the past 4 years.
Let them cook. I don't care. I've gotten to the point I don't care. When it shadow drop it. When if it comes out in 2024, that'll be awesome. But otherwise, work on that shit. Perfect it. Right, I want to have a beautiful, amazing game. And Xbox needs a win so desperately. So if it takes a couple years for you to get that win, take a couple years.
So be it. So be it. Yeah. Well, Xbox had a couple wins at this award show in terms of some reveals. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about them, but yeah. Okay. Watch out, Sony. Better.
Yeah, this feels like a Sony game. It definitely looks like it for sure.
All right. Next up, Brian. This was one we all kind of missed because we were chatting while watching. So I had to go back and watch myself. Sega, because they are the mad creatures they are and don't give a shit about anything, just released the trailer that announced 5 games all at once.
Because why not?
5 remakes, apparently. Yeah. So what is it? It's Golden Axe, Crazy Taxi, which I'm fucking excited about.
Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Shinobi,
which I'm not familiar with. And what's the last one?
Streets of Rage.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Which again, old school. Kind of crazy that they did it this way.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they're like the gameplay itself looks like way more effort than what they put into the trailer. So it's like I feel like this is probably harder for you guys than what you made it seem like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm hoping these are all good. For one thing.
I mean, Crazy Taxi, amazing game. We all probably played it at like game arcades and stuff like that. I had it on Dreamcast.
Yep.
Streets of Rage.
Will they get the Offspring back?
I don't know if Sega has that kind of money anymore. No. Also, Jet Set Radio. Jet Grind Radio is one of my favorite games of all time. Came out on Dreamcast originally. It was named in Japan Jet Set Radio. They actually made a remake called Jet Set Radio Future, which was based around the original Japanese release. That game's fucking cool, and the soundtrack's really cool. So if they keep that fucking soundtrack, or even make it better, add more to it,
right?
I'm sold. I'm sold. That game's amazing.
Yeah, I Streets of Rage. I remember playing I think Streets of Rage 2 on the fucking Sega Genesis.
Yeah, buddy.
That game was fucking hard as a child. I'll tell you that. I don't think I ever beat that first level.
That game had multiplayer, right? That's one of the first games that I remember playing with someone else. I played with my brother back in the day.
Me and my sister fucking sucked at it.
We did not do well, me and my brother, but we definitely played the shit out of it because I think I had Streets of Rage 2 as well.
Look at Sega. Keep cooking. Do what you do. You big weirdos.
Yeah, I know that like Nintendo like bought them out and they've been doing a lot with Nintendo, so it's cool to kind of see them falling back to those roots of what they do.
Yeah, pretty exciting. We'll see whenever those games come out because Crazy Taxi, I mean, from the gameplay, looks pretty polished.
Yeah,
in terms of that, and it's just different maps. So
Jet Set Radio does not look like how I remember it. That's for damn sure. Those characters did not look like that.
Well, that's funny. All right, let's skip ahead real quick. Let's just hit the big hitters and then we'll go back. This isn't a big hitter, but it's sort of a big hitter. Kojima was there and he talked about his new...
Of course he was there. He's always there. That's that man's butt buddy. Come on.
I love it. OD. This is his Xbox exclusive that was announced earlier this year. Didn't show shit. Showed some faces that looked incredible.
It showed Unreal Engine 5 being really good. That's all it showed.
Yes. Yeah. Basically. And then the bigger reveal on top of that was it's in collaboration with Jordan Peele. That was honestly pretty exciting.
And it's like one of those things is like it's surprising, but also not surprising because this man,
it's a no-brainer.
He loves film so much, and he's been so big on getting film stars into his stuff. Why not start getting film directors into your stuff? Because I mean, Hideo Kojima makes amazing horror. He's really good at the horror. I wish he would do more in regards to him. You know, PT was what it was and ended up getting canceled, and that all kind of happened. It was a Silent Hill canceled game. So to see him finally, maybe I still don't know what this game's about, but I assume it's gonna be akin to that kind of space. That's huge. What's not so huge is this is gonna be Xbox and PC.
Yeah.
PlayStation fans, that sucks.
This sucks. I'm not gonna lie.
You may never see how good this game could potentially be.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. Saving grace is I'm not a huge horror game fan, so I might not even play it if it came out.
Listen, if you get the laptop that we're talking about, you'll probably be able to play it. So
that's true. That's honestly
that's the good news.
That is a good point that I did not think about until right now, man. That is a good point. I'm about to get a fucking Xbox account or some shit. Yeah, this collab could be so fucking amazing. This could be so cool.
I mean, I haven't played Death Stranding yet, but I as far as storytelling goes, I think Hideo Kojima he's one of those genius and madness are two sides of the same coin kind of situation where this man makes some of the most interesting media I've ever experienced in my life. You know what I mean? Like even when he's being just straight fucking drunk, it's like, that is a crazy idea. That's so interesting that you thought of that.
Right.
So for him to team up with Jordan Peele, someone else that just has like such an odd mind, in a good way, I can't imagine what they'll come up with together.
And I hope it is like a true collab. I hope it's not just so his name's on the box.
Exactly.
I hope it is an actual collaboration, and it seems to be.
Yeah, I think so. Hideo Kojima always has felt pretty down to earth, all things considered, where it's like he is in love with like the artistry of direction. So I think he wouldn't want it to be like just a name. He wants to like actually pick the brain of Jordan Peele, for sure.
He's one of them modern day geniuses, man.
Yeah,
he's just. It's nuts.
Leaving Konami was probably the best thing to happen to him.
Yeah, as sad as it was, and as sad as that's probably the last Metal Gear we'll ever see proper from him. Good for him for fucking taking that shit in stride and saying, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to keep doing my own weird shit.
Right, exactly. And I mean, solid state story. We can end that. That's fine.
Yeah, no, it does end on a proper note, at least, yeah. Alrighty then. We'll probably head back when we talk about criticisms about the show and towards the end. We'll head back towards this whole segment and stuff. But let's move on to this next game. And my most anticipated, the world's most anticipated, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Brian, I need this game right now. I need it now.
It like damn near brings me to tears just being an adult and playing this game when I was a child in like the late 90s, and just like, this is what I thought this game looked like in like, you know, it came out in 97 and I probably didn't play it until like 98, 99 because I was pretty young during that time. But like the way I saw like the gold saucer, like the way I saw Aerith and things like that, it's just like, to see that shit rendered in the way that it is, it's just like, it's beautiful. It is such a beautiful looking game.
It's crazy.
Like, this is the shit that you like stay alive for, so that you can play games that look
honestly,
like this.
right. That's what's keeping me going. Is I need to finish the third one when it
I hate
comes
to be
out,
so dramatic,
eventually.
but it's like, this is what I think about when I think of just gaming. And I don't know. I love that vision has been so like well rendered outside of like this game that, you know, was released 26 years ago.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Ugh, this trailer I gave me fucking goosebumps in terms of I'll say slight minor spoilers for Rebirth, just as a like a blanket statement for this section, listeners. So skip ahead if you don't want to hear. Fucking the moment I saw Jesse's face in this trailer, I freaked out.
Because why the fuck is she there?
Oh my god, please give me more Jesse, please.
Yeah, I know that was your jam. You loved you some Jesse.
Like, this is a flashback. I don't care. I don't know, but I just like. I need to know, fucking obviously, Zach. There's a lot of fucking Zach.
A lot of fucking Zach. No spoilers, but there's a lot of fucking Zach.
Sid. We get some Sid, obviously. Yeah, it just, I can't wait to get my hands on this. Coming out Leap Day, which is very cool. The fact that it like comes out on a day that only comes once every 4 years. It's just so funny. 2 discs. I'm so fucking stoked. I'm so stoked.
Yeah. I played this game again recently. I didn't end up finishing it when I played it recently, but I probably will. And it's just like getting back to like this kind of space, especially because it's such a big, interesting world. And for this to come out in the time that it came out was just such a treasure of its time, because games just weren't that big back then.
Right.
This and Metal Gear Solid were the 2 games that I knew were multiple discs. So to see this rendered in this way, just I love this game. I just fucking love this game. I love this game. I love everything about it. I can't wait to see Gold Saucer. I can't wait to take fucking Baird on a date. I'm excited. I'm so excited for this game. The only unfortunate part is it probably won't come out on PC for at least 4 months, if not longer.
6 months. Yeah. 6 months. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's
so the earliest I'll probably be able to play this is summer if I don't end up picking up a PlayStation, which I don't have any plans to anytime soon.
I could see people. This could be a system seller
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely,
100%.
For this one, you know, especially when they're packing the dual bundle of the 2 games, the Remake and Rebirth. Yeah, absolutely. That is a good time right there.
It really makes me excited that they might try to do this with other games, and I really hope they do, and I really hope they do it soon. Because Final Fantasy X remade, oh my god, Final Fantasy IX even remade. It could be something really special.
Right. Skipping 8?
Yeah, 8's good. I like 8, but I know 8 has a lot of controversy. People don't like 8 that much. It's Romeo and Juliet, to be honest with you.
That's the one with Leon?
Yeah, Leon with the gunblade. Yeah. It's very much a love story. But 9 is a really good game that I think was really slept on.
Yeah, who knows, man? And the fact that I'm just surprised it's coming out.
I didn't think we were going to get this game anytime within the next 3 years.
I was waiting PS6.
Yeah,
man.
I was pretty sure I was going to die before this trilogy ended. So this is nice that probably won't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Well, we'll probably do a little episode on Remake at some point before this comes out. So look forward to that,
Hell yeah.
listeners. Moving on. Here we go. Xbox. Again, I can't even confirm it because they haven't confirmed it, which is a bit weird. But I can't imagine this isn't anything but an Xbox exclusive. But the fact that they haven't confirmed it is weird. Fucking Blade. Didn't see this coming. Holy shit.
So I can say, I think someone did say on Twitter, that's the dev of the game, that this will be Xbox exclusive. Xbox and PC. Well, there you go. So once again, only people left out of PlayStation.
Which, again, absolutely makes sense. Like, why not? Why not? They need.
I think it's based on the studio that's making it that they're pretty much.
Well, it's because it's Arcane, Lion, who aren't the people that made Redfall.
Thank God.
They are the ones that made Deathloop.
That's not nice. Redfall was just that game was rushed.
That was rushed. Yeah, that was an unfortunate mishap. But I know me and you have differing opinions on Deathloop. You haven't. It didn't quite drive with you.
I can't say enough to really say that it's a bad game or anything like that. It's just hard for me to start. It's a little slow burn to begin with, and I think probably once I got more into it, I'd probably feel it. So I can't give it a fair criticism. But do they make Dishonored? Is that the people that make Dishonored?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, yeah. I like Dishonored. I like the first one. I never played the second one, but I did enjoy that game a whole lot. So I do think they're a very good developer.
Yeah.
Redfall, I played that game, and that game was not good. But yeah, no, I'm still excited about this because I love the art style. The art direction feels really interesting about this.
Interesting.
It gives me kind of like a Spider-Man across the universe, across Spider-Verse vibes. And like the cross hatching and like the lighting and things like that. They definitely taken some vibes from that.
Yeah. I'm assuming based off all their other games, it's first person. It's basically going to be Dishonored, but he's a vampire.
Potentially, yeah. They seem to really love that kind of game. So.
Sounds incredible. Like, it sounds dope as shit. Like, I'm very excited to see what this ends up being in terms of a first person Blade game. Like, I would imagine that means you can stealth it. You can just gung-ho action it.
Listen, I'm going full Wesley Snipes. I'm pulling out guns.
I was about to say, go full Wesley Snipes.
Fuck them vampires.
Motherfuckers trying to ice skate uphill, some shit, whatever.
I'm shooting.
Yeah. Never saw this coming. Very excited. We joked when we watched the Game Awards. Will this game come out before that movie? Probably.
Yes. I bet that. I would bet my whole year in that. Yes.
That poor.
Because I do not believe that movie's actually going to come out because that movie's in development hell right now.
It's so sad. Yeah, so good for Xbox. I'm very excited, very jealous. Because it's probably going to be phenomenal. At least I hope it is.
I hope if it's at least an 8 out of 10, I'll be happy.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Let's just go to the ending real quick. Monster Hunter Wilds revealed. Brian, do you have any experience with Monster Hunter?
I played Monster Hunter World, which was like the Monster Hunter. Yeah, that was like the Monster Hunter that was for the noob people, like the people that aren't, because these games are very front loaded. They're very RPG heavy. They're very mechanic heavy. And if you don't read for at least an hour, you're not going to understand what the fuck you're doing. Yep.
Fuck that. I can't do that,
yes,
bro.
Sir.
I can't do that.
It's one of those kind of games that like, it's not, they don't put you into a tutorial where you're like, okay, I can figure this out based on what they just told me. No, sir. You got to read that bestiary every single time until you get this shit. Monster Hunter World, I really enjoyed it for the time that I spent on it. I never like really, I guess, quote unquote, finished it. It wasn't really a game that's like finishable. But the games that come out that have been like very much pretty niche and like they've gone back to their basics. I assume, considering Rise, like just, I think it's Rise. I might be mixing it up with the movie that came out that was fucking awful.
Is that
There was a Nintendo Switch game that came out.
Okay, yeah.
Fairly recent, like within the last couple years.
Yeah.
I assume it's more akin to that and less like World, because World was definitely something different from what they put out before. And also, just how do you make games that quickly?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. More power to people. Does it come out? It comes out on PS5. Yeah, it's a PS5 game, so maybe it'll be another World situation.
Maybe. 2025, they said.
If I hear it's good, maybe I'll play it.
Who knows? I'm pretty sure I have Monster Hunter Worlds.
You should play it because you can
PS Plus.
You can have a companion, and the companion is a cat, and you can change the way he looks, and he'll cook you. Okay. He'll cook you food, and the food looks fucking delicious. Yo, they be chefing in that fucking game. They be cooking the most most delectable looking food I've ever seen before in my life.
Am I allowed to name the cat?
I think you can name the cat. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm starting it tomorrow.
It was fun for what it was. I definitely had a good time when I was playing it. I forgot. I think it was one of those games that I put down, and I just put it down for too long, and I just never revisited it.
Right. Yeah. And it's like you can play co-op, right?
You sure can.
Okay.
If you want to play, And if it's crossplay, I'm not sure if it is. I'd be more than happy to
Right.
reinstall it and see what we can get done there.
Good to know. Good to know. All right, Brian, is there anything that we missed? Any big stuff or little stuff that you wanted to go back and ramble about?
Not really.
Yeah, it was not a. It was a fine show. I mean, Jurassic Park Survival is probably gonna be bad. Looked kind of cool. Jurassic Park Survival game, whatever, first person.
Yeah, we'll see what that looks like.
It looked like a VR game, but wasn't. So that's weird.
Visions of Mana was announced, which I think the art style is really beautiful. I haven't not played a Legend of Mana or Mana series game in a long time since Legend of Mana, so I can't really talk about how good it is. But I'm sure people that love that story probably would love to see more games around this universe.
I remember us talking and freaking out about Black Myth Wukong because the art style looks
crazy.
Incredible, but it's a Dark Souls born type of game, and so we're all like, "Oh, damn it!"
Yeah, so now I can't play it because it's not gonna be fun. But the art style is immaculate, dude. I love the characterization. I love the art style, the art direction. It looks so interesting. Why's it gotta be fucking hard? Look at this shit, man. I'm looking through the trailer right now. It's just like everything looks so creepy and weird. There's the tiger monsters that just carry around big swords, and a dude that's head is just a fucking lamp, and like all this kind of shit. Of course, you got the monkey man. Everything's so interesting. I just wish
it looks real cool.
I don't know. I still haven't played even Lies of P yet. That's been on my list for a minute, but
God damn, I need to get that. I forgot about that game coming out. There's too many games. I want that.
It's on Game Pass, so it's literally free for me. But I just don't. I know I'm gonna get annoyed by it. You know what I mean? I hear they've made an update so that it's a little bit easier than it was because there was actually a glitch that was making it harder.
Oh shit!
So I assume it's a little bit easier than a From Software game, but I still.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just not my vibe. I'm too old, bro. I have limited time. I don't need to sit on one boss for 4 hours. I got time for that shit.
I don't blame you, man. Give me a 5-hour game and I'll be so happy.
Right. So I might be an
you know
asshole.
What? Maybe I will like that Call of Duty game.
Right. Honestly, like a 5-hour game sounds like a goddamn treat at this point. Like I played a game and I finished it. And it's not 3 years later. Like, let's go.
Right. Real quick, other covering the casting of Frank Stone, which is a collab between the people I think that made Dead by Daylight and then like Supermassive, who make the like Until Dawn stuff. Yeah. So single player creep game looks pretty cool, interesting. Rise of the Ronin, we've talked about a little bit. Looks like Ghost of Tsushima, but with guns, a little more guns. Interesting, cool.
A lot of Asian heavy games have come out in like the last 3 years. It's been pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely a trend.
I wonder if that's been one of those things that's like been on. It's giving me like Samurai Champloo vibes, where it's like they got like guns and shit, and it's like a mix between old and new. And I wonder if that's going to be one of those things, kind of like an Assassin's Creed situation, where it's like, oh, well, actually, it's new age, even though we're pretending that we're old age stuff.
Right. And then Final Fantasy 16 got 2 DLCs coming out. One coming out now. It shadow dropped on the day, and then another one coming out in 2024.
Which is really interesting because I could have sworn they said this game was not going to get DLC. So I don't know if they were like, we joked you, tricked you,
or if they were like, oh shit, people didn't really like it. Let's put some stuff out.
And that's the thing. I don't even know that people didn't like it. I think the people that played it loved it, but it wasn't what people expected.
I feel like the only criticism I heard, were from big Final Fantasy heads. They were like, this isn't RPG, it's an action.
Yeah,
RPG.
I mean, it's Devil's May Cry, like Devil May Cry. Yeah,
right.
It's not Final Fantasy, which I don't know.
It looked sick as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
One of the big things for me that doesn't bother me about that is every Final Fantasy game is fucking different.
Right.
You can't say anything feels like Final Fantasy because Final Fantasy never feels like Final Fantasy because it's literally always something different. There's an MMO called Final Fantasy. There's also an action RPG called Final Fantasy 13. There's also a turn-based RPG called Final Fantasy 7. And then another action RPG called Final Fantasy 7. Like, what are we doing here?
Right. Exactly. And they're all called Final Fantasy, and neither one of them is the last game. None of it makes sense.
We've talked about that story, though, right? The fact about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it was the last game. Yeah.
And they were like, we're fucked. So, and then they made 25 more games after that.
Right. And then never stopped. Yeah, that's it for the game stuff for me, pretty much. Let's quickly talk about like awards and criticism. Obviously, congrats, Baldur's Gate 3, Game of the Year. Everyone knew it. Absolutely.
I don't know if everyone knew it. It was definitely, this is one of the hardest years when it came to gaming.
It would have been a surprise if Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate won because it was just such a different game from everything else that's come out this year.
Yeah.
I like to Elden Ring, which was just like one of those games where it's like, this is just something so fucking different that we're just not used to it. And also, too, there's like the recency of Alan Wake that maybe enough people just haven't played it to kind of see what it was. Because I also do
Right.
think that's a game that's really something special that is going to definitely. I mean, it's got its flowers even from this, even though it came out the month
Yeah.
before this was.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's great. I love that for them. Larian Studios deserves their flowers. I think the game that came before this, Divinity Original Sin 2, a lot of people know that was I think that's an amazing game. That before this game came out, I would have told everyone to play. Now just probably play Baldur's Gate 3. I'm sure to prove upon everything that the last game did.
Just goes to show you, people like sex.
People like, and that's what's crazy thing about me too. And that's why I think this game deserved its flowers, because Elden Ring is the same way. That Elden Ring is a From Software game. That game fucking is hard.
Yeah.
Normal people don't want to play this game, but for some reason, normal people picked it up and played this fucking game. And when the same thing with Divinity Original Sin 2, I love it, but goddamn, is that a crunchy ass RPG? That is a number crunch ass RPG right there. That you're not gonna sit there and just have I have a fun little story that I'm running around with my cute character. Like, no, you're gonna sweat.
Yeah.
You're gonna sweat when you're fucking fighting 13 military men and you got 3 people down and there's a bunch of fire on the fucking field. Like, you're gonna be upset. So for people to still see that in Baldur's Gate and be like, yeah, I still want to play this game, like, that's something special. I don't know. That's something special.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
shout out to them.
Another game that I will eventually pick up at some point. There's just too many fucking
And
games.
it's on Xbox now, so shout out to Xbox girlies. You can finally play.
Yep. Weird that they didn't announce that at the show. Weird, but
it's
whatever.
like, we don't actually want you to play on Xbox.
Like, so
Can
weird.
you please not? Because it's probably going to blow up your Xbox.
It's probably going to maybe that's why, yeah.
I was shout out to Spider-Man for not winning a damn thing.
Oh, man. They did. Look, shout out to Insomniac for just taking it on the chin every fucking time, bro.
They can't get it right.
You guys make such good shit. And honestly, like, one of the best studios today is Insomniac. And just in terms of how fast they are making these games and still quality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just made like 5 games in like 3 years or whatever. Spider-Man 1, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man 2.
Miles Morales came in
Wolverine.
between that, yeah.
It's like, holy shit, man. They and again, all quality.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate the competition they keep
it's
going.
the Horizon Zero Dawn effect, where it's just like you just keep putting them out at the wrong times. Unfortunately, if you want to win awards, I mean, awards don't actually mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But I mean, Spider-Man 2 is definitely a game worth its fucking merit, but it's not Baldur's Gate. Fuck.
It's not Baldur's Gate. I mean, same thing with Zelda. Look, it won one award yesterday, and but again, amazing game for all intent and purposes. That game is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, Alex said it really well off podcast. That it's like, if it wasn't for the fact that it was like a sequel, that probably would have been the game of the year for sure. Because like what it does is so innovative, just as a whole. And Nintendo's so good at making innovative games. I mean, Mario Brothers Wonder apparently is really, really good and really innovative in the thing that it does. That the gameplay aspect of those games are just so good. It feels so good to play those games. So it's almost like criminal.
I don't give a shit about Wonder.
I truly don't either. I mean, I'll never give a shit about those kinds of games, but like I can also.
I get it. I
can always appreciate when a game is just like a good game. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's one of those things. Starfield. I wouldn't say that was deserving of anything.
They got nominated for one thing.
They get nominated, but I would not say it was deserving like Spider-Man was. They came up against a lot of heavy hitters this year. That game should have came out earlier.
Let's talk a little bit about the criticism of this show. Let's start with obviously the one we were talking about right before the podcast with the whole Christopher Judge, aka Kratos. Man, came out, made a crack joke about how his speech last year was longer than the Call of Duty campaign this year, and people laughed. But apparently, some devs, some Call of Duty devs were not quite happy about it.
People were upset about it, and then also devs came out and were upset about it. Like devs that also worked on like Call of Duty, which I was surprised about. It's hard for me personally because like I obviously aren't in the shoes of them, and I think a big part of this, the issue around just Game Awards as a whole, was like, we're in a pretty weird situation that we had the best year of gaming financially and also consumer-wise, and then we also had the most layoffs we've probably ever seen in the gaming industry. The game industry is a terrible place to work because it is so, eggshells to work in that space that you can make an amazing game and get canned the next day, right after you put it out.
Yeah.
So I think people were a little sour about that, to then have that joke be told in that moment where he said like, and one... He wasn't wrong.
He's not wrong. The
game's real short, and that's a criticism of the game. But also, two, I don't think that it was necessarily a criticism of the dev. Like, if anything, I would laugh about it because I would personally think, and this, of course, is just me, only my opinion. I can't talk about it from anybody working on the game. I would be like, oh, that's funny that we were making fun of kind of the crunch time that happened on this game that was supposed to be like a DLC that ended up not being. So I would be laughing at the fact that Suits made fun of this, that they made this game come out as a $70 game. I wouldn't think that it was
Yeah.
an effect on me of like, oh, well, fuck you, Jeff, that worked on the goddamn. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
so that's why I was kind of like, I get you, but I also don't. I feel like we might have taken it a little bit too far than it needed to be.
I think that one was such a softball that, and again, I hate being that person where it's like, it's a joke. Don't take it so seriously, because obviously everyone takes things differently, and that's totally
and that's
fine.
the thing. It's like Christopher Judge, like, yeah, he's doing well, but like he is also in that same space where like he is a victim of, you know, the big wigs. Like everything that he does is based on what other people want him to do. So yeah, I'm sure he's had issues with works during like different situations like that. So I don't know. I don't feel like it was him bullying you because he's not punching down.
Right. And I think it's the same thing. Like, I think a lot of award shows do that. The Oscars, actors will go up there, they'll crack jokes on movies. The host will crack jokes on like, there's usually every show has an opening monologue where they crack jokes about movies that came out that year and whether or not they were good or bad or actors or anything like that. And so that's why I kind of took it as just like a fun jab at the industry as a whole. It was just a personal one towards Call of Duty, and that kind of fit what he was trying to say. But I didn't think anything of it. I don't think he meant it to. Yeah,
I agree. But I was gonna say, I mean, going on to controversy when it comes to just the issue is like, we know that Jeff Keighley does not like to take sides. Right. We also know a big reason of that is probably because of the fact that this man has a lot of investors into this show, and he doesn't want to break any bonds around that.
He needs to get these reveal trailers.
Yeah. The biggest issue with that is the fact that, like, he's not gonna say the stuff because the people that are causing the issues are the same people that are donating money to his cause. And, you know, he loves video games and he loves doing this. He's gonna always want to keep doing that. But the biggest thing was the fact that we talked about it. This was one of the best financial years for gaming, one of the best consumer years for gaming, one of the worst years for layoffs. Thousands of people were laid off from the gaming industry, including games like Destiny. Whole studios were shut down, like Forspoken Studio during this time. Epic Games, one of the biggest game developers of all time, with Fortnite doing...
That was a huge
Fortnite's doing phenomenally right now. So many people were fired in that studio. And a big thing around that is probably... The COVID pandemic is probably the best way to describe what happened that, because loans were low. It was really easy to get a loan, and then a lot of people wanted to expand during that time. And then, of course, this ended, quote unquote. Interest rates went back up. People had to pay back that money. And they were expecting a little bit higher gains than they received, and now they're in shitty positions. And that's what happens when you gamble against the system and you lose. And that fucking sucks. Because it sucks that this is a place that happens this way. Because like this is the most lucrative media in the world right now. It's bigger than movies and TV and music, all that shit combined. So to still struggle with like shit like layoffs feels so archaic. Like you're like still like a new kind of shit. So Jeff Keighley went up on that stage and gave us ad after ad after ad, and shortened everyone's fucking talk and speech and everything like that, and did not say a single word about the layoffs. And that feels bad, to celebrate gaming while not also talking about the issues with it.
And look, we've talked about this in terms of, we talked about this before we started recording it, in the sense that we've kind of gotten into the headspace there, whereas if you're going to offer criticism, you got to have either a solution or acknowledge that you don't have one. You don't have a solution, and that's also okay. But I also think it's one of those things where, sadly, there are politics in everything. And Jeff is a bit of a gaming politician in terms of he needs to make these publishers happy in order to get the things that we all want to see every time, these big reveals and these trailers and everything. And sadly, it is a thing where maybe not everyone ends up being happy, and there needs to be some kind of middle ground. I did see one of the criticisms of how short the speeches were. Clearly a reaction to Christopher Judge's 7-8 minute speech.
Was it 7 or 8 minutes? I feel like it was like 12. That man was talking forever.
I don't. He talked for a while. And so everyone got 30 seconds this year, which is not a lot of time. And I would guarantee it's going to be corrected again next year.
Which he talked on Twitter a little bit about that. He said he thinks it was an overcorrection. And seeing that now, he would have definitely made it longer, because it didn't feel as bad when they were doing rehearsals, but it felt worse during the actual show. So that is him actively responding to it. I'm not going to say whether or not it's a good or bad thing, or whether or not he actually get to it, but I will say he did say something, which is,
I would love to see Best Indie Game get an actual acceptance speech time. I think that is a very important award that doesn't get a lot of showcase time for most things, at least on these grand stages like this. But it's also one of those things where there are other award shows. There's DICE that has straight up award shows, and none of us really watch them.
There's a PC gaming award show. There's multiple about it. That's why Game of the Year is such a funny thing to talk about, because anyone could probably put Game of the Year on their box, because there's so many people announce a Game of the Year. Even if it's just a journalism website. Like Kotaku might say a game of the year. It might not fucking be Baldur's Gate. Right. It could be fucking, I don't know, Alan Wake 2. It could be Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And then you can put that on your box. And that's all it really comes down to. Is like gaming award show as a whole is such a goofy thing because obviously it's a nothing sandwich. It's nothing. It doesn't make your game better. It doesn't make you more. It could make you more money, I guess, with like as far as PR goes. But other than that, like it's just not really anything. You get award that your probably studio director is going to put on his mantle next time he's on a Zoom meeting. And that's about the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, it's like, as far as we talk about like solutions, it's like, it's so easy to say anything. Just say, it doesn't have to be super controversial.
Yeah.
Just say anything and be like, we just like, I don't know, grieve the losses of people that just fucking lost their job.
Yeah.
Talk about it. And I know that's harder said. It's easier said than done. I know that he probably feels so scared that people are going to withdraw money when you talk about those things. But it's like,
it's also one of those things where Jeff doesn't really have an opening monologue in the show. So he just kind of comes out there and they get
he's there for the fucking games, baby. That's all he cares about is the fucking, he loves games.
And that is the thing, is that I would guarantee that like more than 50% of the people that watch this are there just for those trailers. Selfishly, I think we're all gamers are a little bit selfish in terms of, we want to see what's next. And so I think just if it were just a traditional award show with award after award and no games at all, viewership it will be less,
right?
Like guaranteed.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of people could criticize like the ads that they pretend are
the
real ads, and it's like, I get why you have to do it. I get you have to hit like a certain quota in order to get like the funding that you're looking for. But at the same time, it's like to put so many ads in, like this show is fucking 3 hours, and that's kind of crazy. It's an award show. It's 3 fucking hours to put all of that into a game award show. And then also cut the people that actually win these awards short feels bad. It feels bad that we showed the Fortnite trailer 3 times, but fucking the people that won the game of the year got 30 seconds. Like, that feels shitty. That feels shitty. So it's like, the middle ground is where they really have to find the space. You got to find a middle ground.
Especially because like we're constantly complaining that it's already too long.
I think Summer Games Fest was probably one of the better ones because it was shorter. It was fucking shorter. And I know there's just less games to show, but it was just shorter. Right. And I just think that felt better. So it didn't feel so... And I know also you don't have the award part as well. But like, like they ran through... Like Content Creator of the Year and RPG of the Year should not be both run-throughs. One of those are very different from the other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to see fucking Quackity show up on stage. But that is a real creator.
Let's say
that is a real creator. I'm not shitting on him. I know he makes good content, and a shout out to him. But that is a real creator. But then RPG of the Year, hundreds of people. Larian Studios has 300 employees. So to not give them their flowers and give them the same kind of treatment that you gave someone for the Creator of the Year, that feels weird. It feels weird.
It's tough.
It's tough. Indie games, a lot of indie games turn out to be some of the best games that come out each year. Hades, I'm pretty sure, is that not an indie game? Like, that's a small studio. At least it was. It might not be anymore.
Yeah, I don't know now.
So it's like situation. Celeste. I know Celeste was a game that definitely got its flowers, and that's definitely an indie studio that made that game. So it's like to shit on them and really not give them their flowers just feels kind of bad. Because we're talking about people that are like 10 to 12 people deep at max sometimes, you know?
And like, I don't envy Jeff. He's in a tough spot. And like, obviously, I would imagine he knows that he's not going to please everyone. It's impossible to please
Listen, the best first start is to stop sucking your boy's dick. Hideo Kojima, I love that man with all my being. He can't have 10 minutes no more. He gets 5. Like, something as simple as that. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll be like, do you have anything to show? All right,
you can hang out with your boy and his translator after the show. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know. It's just little things like that I think it should be changed. There's a lot of flat that can be cut that I think he refuses to. One big thing, we had a lot of celebrities this year. More than we've ever had. They gave nothing. They gave nothing to the show. Anthony Mackie did nothing but be drunk for 5 minutes straight. He was awful on that stage. I love Anthony Mackie. I love his work. I love what he's doing. I can't wait for the next Captain America. What he did on that stage was fucking awful.
That was the worst
It was
part.
terrible. All he did was sit there and pretend to be a drunk version of Will Smith and go, you guys are like,
Yeah, it was too bad. Yeah.
Get the fuck off the stage. No one watched Twisted Metal. Get the fuck off the stage. Like,
Yo, get to season 2 though.
Which is crazy. I can't believe that.
Crazy.
That kind of shit. Timothée Chalamet was there. He gave 1 award and dipped the fuck out.
He was announced Game of the Year. That was weird. Whatever. But again, it was, at least his was short. And that's
the thing, because Jeff Keighley just wants something so much more than what this is. And I get it. We always want to make things bigger. We always want to improve upon what we're doing. But like, manage your expectations. You didn't do what you wanted to do. You just wasted money, is what you did.
I was about to say, he could have saved that money and he wouldn't have to waste another ad spot.
Exactly.
He wouldn't need another ad spot because he could save that celebrity
you could cut
money,
out 3-minute ad spots just by not having Anthony Mackie there.
Right, exactly. I'm like, Matthew McConaughey was there in the top of the show, announced the game, and he said he was a voice in it. I don't even know if his voice was in the trailer at all. I don't even know if he was in there. I was like, wait, did I miss it, or was he just not in it? That was weird.
That's one of those things that I think that Jeff Keighley just gotten such a big head about it. Like, yeah, I don't envy his position at all, but I also do think he has some things that he has opportunity to improve upon. Where it's just like, I think you may have gotten such a big head, knowing that you're the big person. E3's dead now. That like you're the guy.
Yeah,
and it's like maybe
you're the guy.
You can be the guy and also be the ethical guy when you do this. So we'll see. We can only. I like that he's taking criticism. I like that he's taking feedback, and I can only appreciate that. So I only hope that next year is better. We did get women. We got women on the stage. We did not get them last year, which is such a sad thing to say.
Look, it's an evolution.
Yeah,
it'll keep improving. Hopefully,
exactly.
We'll see what it's like next year. Congrats to all the winners. And all the nominees.
Congrats to all the winners. I love that people got to go and dress up and be in that space. I love seeing developers get to be in that kind of stuff.
Get real drunk.
Yeah, like that's super cool. And I'm glad we have a space to do those kind of things. I do just also want it to be a happier space for everybody, because I do know that it's been a stressful last year.
Hey, one thing he did improve on was security. No one rushed the stage this year.
No more Bill Clinton wants GTA 6, which I mean, they announced it. So Homeboy might have won. I don't know.
There it is, the Game Awards. That's it. We'll see y'all next year for that one. Brian, shall we now move into our final segment of the week?
Let's do it.
Which we like to call Free for All Title Pending. This is a segment of listeners where we can kind of talk about whatever we want. We can talk about our day, talk about our life, fight, rant, nap. This week's a little special because me and Brian are going to do a collaborative Free for All, because this was something we were going to talk about in the past, and there was just too much stuff and couldn't get to it, and so we're gonna do it now in a little short frame kind of work here, because we both watched at least the first half, part 1, as I guess they're calling it, of Invincible season 2, the first 4 episodes of Amazon's season 2 of its, I would say, fairly acclaimed show. People fucking love this shit. That 4th episode was fucking cracking. It was fucking good as shit. The first 3, I'm not gonna lie, kind of just going through the motions for me a little bit. Oh, let me say, spoilers for Invincible season 2. These first 4 episodes. Say it right now. Spoilers.
And essentially the first season.
Yeah. Well. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. What'd you think?
Like you said, the 4th episode I thought was really interesting and really cool. That was when kind of it all hit to an edge and kind of saw some of the more interesting aspects. Everything before that, I don't know that this show hits the same way the first season did. I think it's one of those things that, like, after the big reveal happened, now it's just kind of messy.
It's a little tough.
I don't like where it's going. I don't like what's happening. And I don't know that I like where it ended. And I now have gotten some spoilers that I know that some of the stuff's going to keep going that I don't like. And that's fucking with me. I'm not enjoying that when it comes down to it.
Honestly, it was a weird choice for them to split this up.
Yes.
I don't know what the reasoning is.
It's 100% like a Mappa-esque choice where I just think they were overworked and just needed some time. I truly think that that's all it was.
But like, why not just wait to put the whole thing out?
I think they were afraid that people were going to forget about this show and thought that maybe they were going to lose viewers.
It's been like 5 years anyways. What's another 6 months?
I agree 100%. But I wonder if they're just like, we just need to get something out at the stage. Because it's probably like an investor situation where like our investors are waiting. They're losing money. They're looking at y'all. Y'all are wasting our fucking time. Put something out. So they did it. Right. And now we're here with like the weirdest fucking arc, mid-arc that we've ever been in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they say that the episode for the last Omni-Man's back. The fights were fucking dope. He's a dad again.
Which is crazy.
To a little blue bug boy.
He was fucking a bug. My man is slinging that shit everywhere. My man's a whore.
I don't even know how he fucked.
He's for the streets, bro. What's going on here, dude? Your dad is a whore.
Yo, Omni-Man will fuck anything, dog. Yo, is that bestiality?
Yes.
Oh boy.
I don't care if she can speak English. That shit's weird. I don't like it.
He's fucking a life-size
bug. She has like a lifespan of like 8 days. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh, that's kind of gross. I don't know how old her mind was when he first met her. She could have been 8.
That shit's gross. I hate it here.
And then an hour later, she's 25. That was all interesting. Like genuinely, like didn't see that coming. When he showed up and that whole reveal, and him seemingly getting sent off to be executed, which I would imagine we'll come back to and something will happen there. Found it very interesting that the Viltrumites are like, hey, you can be one of us now, Mark. You proved it. We kicked the shit out of you, but you put up a good fight.
Yeah, they're definitely big warriors, which is an interesting thing. And God, watching those fights with the Viltrumites and watching them like disembowel each other and shit, it was great.
Just like a karate chop, but it slices.
I'm telling
whole
you,
fucking
for a
guts
show
up.
called Invincible, this man gets his ass beat consistently. This man, they were like, we're gonna take on some easier missions because we know that he's been going through a lot, so we want to make sure that he survives through this. My man gets his ass beat every single mission. And I get it, like he doesn't die from it, but like bro gets beat the fuck up. Like
he's just catching L's every
that man
time,
sucks
dude.
at what he does. That man is terrible at this job. Quit.
He needs to go to the gym.
Something's not working for you, brother.
Maybe Omni-Man was right, bro.
Jesus. Yeah, I was really interested in that black dude's kind of story and the fact that he could go between worlds and things like that, and that he was a superhero.
I forgot about
that.
And
I know it's coming back, but also I just kind of hate the way that they kind of fell flat on it, where it's just like, oh, well, he just blows up his fucking machine.
I was surprised it all happened in that first episode.
And I was kind of like, oh, well, I guess that's the end of that. Fucking whatever. I always love the two fucking scientist dudes. I think they're hilarious. Yeah. I like the idea of just someone being thick as fuck and also being smart, where it's just like, yeah, you're the brute.
I love that they're always constantly trying to kill each other because they don't know which one. They think they're not the clone or whatever.
No, I really love their storyline. I think that's really interesting. So they've done an interesting thing with that now, because one is fucked up. So obviously he knows he's the quote unquote real one.
But then they killed him. He's dead.
Then they fucking killed him.
Now they're back to normal again. They're back
being
to
two just random dudes.
Just normal blue.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Because I know I kind of felt a certain way when it first started about that. It's a multiverse thing.
Yes.
Again. And like, are we sick and tired of multiverse?
Yes, I sure am. Because it's never done well enough for me to be interested. Or at least different enough for me to be interested, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When it first popped up, I was like, "Oh, damn!" Like I get it. This comic book came out years ago, but it just feels a little dated in terms of everybody fucking doing the multiverse now, man. God damn.
Yeah, and we'll kind of see where it goes with like Mark and his adventures. Yeah. Of course, we're seeing a lot of like, well, this is what happens if Mark just accepted this shit and killed us all, and it's like. We obviously know that's not the Mark that we see in our timeline, and the black guy doesn't realize that because the Mark that he does in his timeline is a piece of shit. So he's like, man, fuck all Marks. Right. We want them all dead. And it's like, what's going to happen there? It's probably going to be stupid. I'm probably going to not like it. So we'll see. But also, this is a show about subverting expectations. So maybe they'll do it again. Maybe I'll be surprised again. I don't know enough about the comic. All I know is like one kind of big story beat that I was kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Shout out to Seth Rogen, Alan the Alien, again getting his fucking ass beat by the Viltrumites, bro. God damn, to a pulp.
Animation felt. I watched the Adam Eve special before this, like right before this.
Oh, okay.
That shit looked way better in a lot of situations. I think there's only one fight in this season that I was like, okay, that looks on par with what I watched with the Adam Eve fight.
Adam Eve was killing it.
Yeah. She turned into one of my favorite characters in the show. So then to not really see her at all.
She don't get much play in this season.
No, not at all. The only time she gets play is when she's in the bad timeline and she's fucking gets her neck broken. So it's like, well, fuck.
It's rough for Adam
so that
Eve
kind of fucked me up. I was kind of like, well, I watched this and this was so good and like so well, like I don't like to call it choreography when it comes to animation, but like it's choreography. That shit was better. Right. It was just better in a lot of situations.
I mean, I always wasn't a huge fan of the animation in this show. Like I get it. Like it's well done in terms of they know where to cut corners in order to make it the most efficient budget wise and everything. Again, coming off of stuff like Attack on Titan and everything, I'm like, this shit looks like kindergarten.
Yeah, I don't know that they just straight draw it as opposed to CG. I think there's still a lot of CG work with this, but they definitely pick and choose what they do with things for sure. And I think Adam Eve maybe did a little bit bigger because of what it was. And they had time.
Yeah.
So that's why I think time was a big reason that a lot of this probably ended up being what it was.
Yeah.
Pros and cons.
It is what it is at this point. Yeah, I mean, by the end of the last episode, I was excited to get to part 2. But that was weeks ago, and I kind of forgot.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like, I'll watch it when it comes out, but I don't know. After seeing things like The Boys, another Amazon show that came out, and like really loving that, I'm just not, I'm pretty lukewarm about Invincible now.
I think separating it might have been the worst thing for it.
I think I agree with you there.
It's a bummer, but I'm sure when that part 2 comes out.
Yeah, hopefully the hype will be back, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you got anything more to say about Invincible? Is that about it?
I will give it a hard 7 out of 10, 6.5. I enjoyed it. I didn't have a bad time.
I would give that last episode like a 8.5 or a 9. The rest of it,
fair.
Yeah, 7. Alrighty, that is our show, listeners. Don't forget you can email us at thefourtress@gmail.com. Fourtress spelled F-O-U-R. Feel free to email us any feedback, questions, recommendations, anything like that. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Follow the 3 Bollywood R's. Rate, review, and recommend us to anyone and everyone you know. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art, Alex for the music, and thank you, Devin, for being here. Even when you're not here, you can find Brian on Instagram, ITZ_. By the way, Alex Peterson Films, and Devin, you can find him probably at a soccer field in New York City somewhere, living his best life. Next week, I think it's the last episode of the year for us. We're going to do some end of the year wrap up, quote unquote, awards, because, you know, we are worthy enough to give out awards now.
Baldur's Gate 3 sweet, baby.
Oh, yeah. But look forward to some stuff as we come into the new year. Probably talk about some Aquaman 2, Rebel Moon, other shit like that. So look forward to that. And as usual, put a coat on. It is cold out there. And happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, happy holidays. It's warm as shit today. Probably not anymore. It's cold outside now.
All right, I'm going to go to bed. All right. We'll see you all here next week on another episode in the Fortress of...